If you want a mid-size luxury SUV, you're probably thinking of a BMW X3, the Mercedes-Benz GLC, maybe the Audi Q5 or Lexus NX. But what if you don't want anything from the Germans and you just don't like Lexus for whatever reason? Well, why not consider something from Sweden, such as this, the Volvo XC60. Yes, Volvo is back in Indonesia, and this is actually our long-term review unit. So we have this for a few months, and what I want you guys to do is to let us know, what do you want to know about this car? You know, reliability, fuel consumption, customer service, anything you want to know in terms of the long-term stuff. Let us know in the comments or on our Instagram, and we'll make another video at the end of our review period to let you guys know. For today though, we're gonna review it as usual. We're gonna check out the interior, the exterior, and we're gonna drive it. So, let's go. We'll start with the exterior as usual. Overall, I like the design of the car. I think it's a little bit more feminine, a little more rounded these days, but overall it's still really nice. The headlights is still that iconic Volvo Thor's hammer design. Apparently it's called that. Don't quote me on it. Pierre said it to me. So if it's so if that's not correct, don't blame me. Aside from that, it still has the vertical grille, the diagonal bar on the grille is also really cool. Honestly, aside from the rear lights, it's still unmistakably Volvo. What I love the most is like the shoulder line. This is also still really pronounced. It's really cool. Wheels are a little small. Oh, that's hot. Wheels are a little small, but aside from that, the car I think is still, it still looks great, still masculine enough, and yeah, not much to talk about. Let's go into the interior. Inside is actually really nice. The build quality of the car is really good. The door handle feels amazing. The buttons also feel really good. You got some buttons for the memory seats, and then of course you have a fully digital driver display. On the left is the speed, on the right is the gear, or if the engine is on, it shows your RPM. And in the middle is the maps, which is integrated to Google Maps. Overall, I really like the driver display. It's much better than the Germans, especially BMW. This is just so much easier to read. The main infotainment screen is touchscreen, as you expect. It's 9 inches, which is not too big, but that's big enough for me. In terms of responsiveness, it's quite responsive, but I think it could be a little faster. There are some unnecessary animations, I think, but overall, it's still quite nice, responsive, and perfectly usable. There's also an 11.2 inch version, but I like this better because that one has a floating iPad design, which I don't really like. Anyway, down here is the playback controls and volume knob. You got the hazard button right here. And then of course your gear lever, a crystal gear lever, which looks really nice. I like this a lot. Feels good to use. And then if you open this, you've got your wireless phone charger and a couple of cup holders, which is big enough for a corksicle tumbler right here. Aside from that, there's here the start button or switch is right here. You got the parking brake, the brakes, the button for the auto hold for the brake hold, and a couple of USB-C chargers in here. And you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. But if you don't want to use that, it's fine. It's already integrated with Google Maps and Google Assistant. What else? You got leather seats, panoramic sunroof. What else is there? Oh, Bowers and Wilkins stereo, so that's quite nice. Overall, I like this interior. The thing about this car, this interior, is that it actually feels a little old and conservative. The screen is a little small. The steering wheel is not too complex, and there's still a few buttons here and there. This interior actually feels a bit more conservative. It doesn't feel like that BMW interior with a massive screen, but I quite like it. It's actually quite refreshing to be in a car that doesn't have massive screens everywhere. But yeah, to each their own. And overall, the build quality is great, and it's actually pretty well packed with features. And speaking of features, it's actually very well equipped. And because this is a Volvo, as you would expect, there are quite a few active and safety features in the car. So, let me read them to you. Side impact protection system, dual stage airbags, knee airbag, driver side, lane keeping aid, blind spot information system, cross traffic alert, 360 camera, oncoming lane mitigation, rear collision warning, park assist, front rear sights, adaptive power steering, adaptive cruise control, and integrated booster cushions. At the back, it's actually a lot better than you would expect. This is, after all, a compact crossover SUV, right? It's a compact crossover SUV, so you wouldn't expect the rear legroom to be great, but this is my driving position. So if the driver is quite short, 169 centimeters, you will actually have quite a lot of space in here. Look, plenty of space and plenty of headroom as well. But maybe if the driver is a little taller, like Pierre, who's 187 centimeters, then you wouldn't have as much space. But this is great. What else is there? I guess we'll do some fun facts around the car. Unlike, say, a Porsche, there's not a lot of options that you can choose. But here are some fun facts around the car. So, for example, there are booster seats built into the car. So, if you have kids and they want to sit comfortably with the seat belts, you can use this. It's built in. Here's a really cool idea that I think car makers should apply more. If you pull this to fold the seats, there is a warning right here, letting you know that the seats are not locked in place. And if you push it, it goes down. It's really great. This car has a feature that a lot of German cars actually now doesn't have anymore. There is a headrest fold button, and that will fold the headrest on the back seats. But it's been designed so it's not comfortable when it's folded down. That's because they want you to put it up so it protects your head from whiplash. As for the trunk, it's generally big enough, but we don't really have anything big to test this out. So we've put Pierre in here, and he seems to be quite comfortable. You're comfortable? Okay. It's okay. So you can fit in a videographer in there. So that's generally big enough for all your needs. Now, let's drive the car. First, I'd like to apologize if the video quality isn't great because we're using an iPhone with a crappy phone holder. Because our usual Insta360 is in Japan with Michael for Rolls-Royce. Anyway, this is the T8 Recharge, so this is the most powerful version and it's the only version here in Indonesia. So it has a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine, and it also has an electric motor at the back, making a total of 455 horsepower with 709 Newton meters of torque. For what is essentially a family SUV, that is a lot of power. I mean, 20 years ago, that's like supercar performance. Now it's in a family SUV. Anyway, it's quite heavy. I think the car is about 2.2 tons, 2.3 tons. So let's see if that power is enough to offset the weight. So, power mode. That turns on the engine. Let's put it in. So in this car, you can put it in drive or B, which is basically it turns on the regenerative braking, and you can engage manual mode by moving the gear lever from left or right. So first gear, no launch control, but let's see. Oh shit! I was. Let's do that again. That's actually quite fun. V1 power mode, and oh, we got a bit of a wheel spin there. Oh, good crap! This thing's quite good. What the hell? That is so fast. That is unnecessarily fast for this car. What the hell? Yeah. If you're worried about power, don't worry. This car it's fast. Okay, so the car is obviously very fast, but it is not sporty at all. It is the farthest thing from sporty. The steering feel, basically non-existent. It's very, very numb. It's... Oh. That is scary. That is scary, but also it's kind of fun, you know. It's scary, but then that's the thing. It kind of that makes it kind of fun. But you gotta be really careful with this car, you know, because if you're not careful, you might push it a little too much, and then you might find yourself wrapped around a tree or a street light or something. It's a good laugh, though. I'm gonna say that for sure. It's a good laugh. At slow speeds, it's fine. It feels good to handle, but then at high speeds, it just doesn't give you any confidence at all. And the car is very, very soft. At high speeds, it just feels a little boaty. You know, it feels a little boaty, a little floaty. So it doesn't give you a lot of confidence at high speeds. But that's totally fine because this isn't a sporty brand. Volvo is, of course, about safety. It's about sustainability, you know, things like that. It's not about sporty driving. So if you want something sporty, then maybe buy a Porsche Macan or a Cayenne or a BMW X3. But if you want something that's comfortable, then this car is perfectly acceptable. It is very, very comfortable. It's soft, it's quiet, it's a hybrid, so you don't actually have to use the engine. Right now we're in hybrid mode and it's only using the electric motors. Some complaints maybe the tires, so not the fault of the car, the tires are very loud. It's running on Pirelli P0s. I find that it can be quite loud on some surfaces, so not great. Maybe ask for a different tire from Pirelli's or change it. And you can still feel quite a lot of the vibrations from the road. So little bumps and little unevenness and roughness on the road. You can feel the vibrations. It's not bad. It's not harsh. It has this sort of boomy feel in the car, especially from the back. But it's not too bad that I would complain. Overall, it's still very comfortable, very quiet, and very relaxing. Yeah, again, because it's a hybrid, you don't actually have to use the engine. As long as you charge it at night, it has 77 kilometers of range. And for a lot of people, that's enough for their daily commute. Most people travel for what, 40, 50, maybe 60 kilometers in a day for their daily commute. So as long as you keep it charged at night, you won't need to use the engine. I've been driving today for 68 kilometers, and so far we've done 19.6 kilometers to the liter. That's with hybrid mode. That's with the slightly fast driving that we did earlier. So yeah, honestly, I don't think there's much else to say. I think it's a perfectly nice car to drive. It's not sporty, but then again, that's not really what you're looking for in this car, is it?
A few more things we'd like to note. We ended the day with 18.5 kilometers per liter of fuel consumption, which may not sound great for a plug-in hybrid, but when you consider it has 455 horsepower, that's excellent. Another thing we'd like to note is that the car only has 7 kilowatt hour AC charging, so you will not be able to use all public charging stations, and you will have to wait quite a while to recharge it. And as mentioned, the car has adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist, which we should mention is easy to engage and is actually quite good. Now, let's get to the sensitive matter of pricing.
Now let's talk money. We'll have the prices on the screen, but basically because this is the T8 Recharge, this is the most expensive out of all its rivals. Now that being said, this is the only hybrid option other than the Lexus NX 450. Now that the Lexus is cheaper, but it has less range, less power, and slower acceleration. Now, if you don't really care about the badge of the car, you can buy the Mazda CX-80 as well. That's also a plug-in hybrid. But again, it has less range, less power, slower acceleration, and the badge is obviously not as prestigious. Basically, if you're looking at European hybrid compact SUV, this is your only option right now. When it comes to warranty, there's nothing particularly special about the Volvo. You get a 3-year maintenance, 5-year parts warranty, and 8-year warranty on the batteries. So nothing special there, but generally that's enough for most people. Now, yes, it's quite expensive, more expensive than its rivals, but overall I do believe it's a compelling package and I do like the car. However, there may be one thing that you should note: community engagement. Basically, there's no community that you can engage with. Now, of course, there's the Volvo Club of Indonesia, but that's mostly older classic Volvos, and that may or may not be the crowd you're looking for. If you want to network with new people, join a community with your car, you're probably better off buying something like a Porsche, a BMW, or even a Mercedes. Basically, aside from community engagement, this is an excellent compact SUV. It may be expensive, but so far, we're very happy with it. Of course, this is a long-term review, so don't forget to let us know what you want to know more about this car in the comments. For now though, I'm gonna drive it some more. Thank you, speeders. See you later.